The directions say to find two values of theta, where theta is between 0 and 2 pi, that satisfy the following equation. So when sine theta equals square root of 3 over 2. And we're not using our calculators on this. We're going to do this with our exact value chart. If you were to do inverse sine on this problem, if you were to put this in your calculator and do it in inverse sine, then you're only going to get out one answer. And there's actually two answers to this. So I want us to look at, let me get a pen instead of a pencil, mark a little bit darker here. I want us to look at this definition of sine theta, or circular definition of sine theta. There we go. Y over R. So my Y value is positive here. So I could either have an angle that's here in quadrant 1 with a point XY, or I could actually have an angle that's over here in quadrant 2. If you were to take this point and reflect it across the y-axis, this point over here would be the point negative xy. This angle and this angle are going to have the same measures, and those points are, because the angles are reflections of each other, those points are going to have symmetry around the y-axis there. So if this angle here has a sine of square root of 3 over 2, that means that that angle is pi over 3. Yeah, I'm in radians here. This is pi over 3. So this angle here is pi over 3. Does that make sense so far? So that means that this angle that I am going to make in yellow would be 2 pi over 3. So I have theta could be equal to pi over 3, or it could be equal to 2 pi over 3. Right? This is 1 pi, 2 pi, and then again, 180 degrees would be 3/3 pi. So this is 1 pi less than that. So this angle would be 2 pi over 3. On the next problem, I'm going to do this problem just slightly different, just so you can see it a little bit different. Instead of me making my two angles on one grid, I'm going to separate it out onto two grids. I know that if I'm looking at the tangent of an angle and I have a negative answer, I have to have the point on the line XY to have one of the coordinates positive and one of the coordinates negative. So that means I am either in quadrant 2 or I am in quadrant 4. So I've got this angle theta are all the way around here. Okay? So if I have a point over here on the terminal side of this angle, my x coordinate is negative, the y coordinate is positive, and over here, my x coordinate is positive and the y coordinate is negative. if I'm looking for the tangent of -1, I want to look at my exact value chart. Like, well, I don't have the tangent of -1, but I know that the tangent of 45 degrees is 1, or the tangent of pi over 4 is 1. So if I just have either the negative, the x negative or the y negative, that would give me my tan value to be negative. So that means my reference angle is going to have a tan value of 1. So this reference angle of pi over 4 is going to have a tangent of 1. This angle is going to have a tangent of -1. Right? This angle in here is my reference angle of pi over 4. Again, pi over 4 has a tan of 1. My angle that I'm looking at is going to have a tangent of -1. So the question is, what is the measure of this angle? Well, this is pi, or 4/4 pi. That means this would be 3/4 pi. It's 1 pi less than this. So this is 3 pi over 4. And this all the way around is 2 pi. And if I'm in fourths, I could write this as 8 pi over 4, because 8 divided by 4 is 2. So this would be 7 pi over 4. Is your cosine associated with the x value or your y value? X. And if I want this cosine to be negative, I'm basically looking at where are my x values negative. Well, my x value is negative in quadrant 2, but I also have an x value that's negative down in quadrant 3. Right? This is x over r, so x is negative. And again, your negative, x values are negative in quadrant 2 and in quadrant 3. Okay, be sure that you understand that this angle is not negative. So I'm not going in a clockwise motion. The cosine is negative. My angle is still going in a counterclockwise motion. This angle that I'm looking at in here has to be associated with an angle that has a cosine of 1/2. So cosine of 1/2 is pi over 3. This angle right in here is pi over 3. This angle right in here is pi over 3. Those are my reference angles. So that means this angle would be 2 pi over 3, and this angle would be 4 pi over 3.